It's a beautiful Sunday morning in Standish, Maine, and it's just about time for another classic GNCBL Sunday morning doubleheader. The first leg of two straight games between the Nor'easters and Lightning, two teams that have played each other a lot this year. The Nor'easters currently hold the season series 3-1, but the Lightning can even the score with a sweep today. The man on the mound for the home Nor'easters to start will be Dylan Miner, with a defense around him of Luke Chessie at first, Michael Weirn at second, Jack LeBlanc at short, Gus Lappin at third. In the outfield, Brady Graffam in left, Hunter Brissett in center, Dawson Gunlaw in right, and Dylan Furman doing the catching for Miner, the senior at USM out of Sacapee Valley High School. About ready to stand in against the Lightning lineup, led off today by their sorry about that. Led off by their leadoff man, Henry Lodger. And Miner starts him off in the zone. I'm Charlie Fellows, as always, to take you through this game. And Lodger, the first man to bat, a rising freshman, as all the players on the Lightning squad are. He's going to Husson in the fall. Quick 0-2 from Miner. Leaves it high. Lodger's batting .167 this year. He's batted in 3 runs. After graduating from Thornton Academy, looks at another ball, 2-2. This is a battle between the top 2 teams in the GNCBL, the only 2 teams that are above 500 currently. Cut and a miss from Lodger. Miner starts his outing off with a K. That will bring up Andrew Heffernan out of South Portland High School, defending Southern Maine Class A champion. Into center field, down for a base hit, and past the glove of the center fielder, Hunter Brissett. So Heffernan will get second base on that. Brissett tried to make a running catch and could not come up with it, so a 1-out double for Heffernan, who has done that his share of times this season. And the second half of the 1-2 punch for the Lightning lofts that into center field as Richie Gilboy, Brissett under it, able to get the out. For out number 2, and that will bring up the cleanup man, Nick Frink, out of Thornton Academy. Also attended Scarborough High School. Miner gets him to chase a curveball. Frink heading to Quinnipiac this fall. Known for his power, as the 2 men in the lineup before him are. Swings and misses again at that curveball. From Miner, the 6'5" righty out of East Baldwin. 0-2. Inside. One, two. Cut and a miss. 2 Ks in the opening frame for Dylan Miner. And aside from a Heffernan double, the Lightning go without incident. We will see the Nor'easters side of things when we come back. Ready for the bottom of the first here at the Larry Mahaney Diamond, and St. Joseph's College. For the Nor'easters lineup of Jack LeBlanc, Brady Graffam, Luke Chessie, Dawson Gunlaw, Andrew Merrill, Michael Weirn, Dylan Furman, Gus Lappin, Max Cloutier, and Hunter Brissett. The 10-man unit designated by head coach Max Zalewski. They will be facing a Lightning defense of Nick Frink at first, Henry Bebo at second, Andrew Heffernan at short, Richie Gilboy at third, and the outfield Grady Hotham in left, Henry Lodger in center, Gus Holland in right, and Reese Owens behind the bag doing the catching for their pitcher Mason Ryan out of Wheaton. He is a Standish native on his old stomping grounds currently. Went to Bonnie Eagle High School. A 5'11 righty. Had a 1.92 ERA and 81 strikeouts during his senior year of high school, making his second start on the season. And now Jack LeBlond will stand in, a senior at USM, hitting .368 with 7 runs batted in. Just the profile you wanted a leadoff hitter, but skies that on the infield. Coming in, Gilboy, able to reach out and make the grab for out number 1. Apologize again for the camera angle here from the press box at St. Joe's. We have home plate, the pitcher's mound, and first base, and I will fill in the rest for you. One away for Brady Graffam. In for strike 1. Sophomore at USM, teammate of LeBlond's. Takes ball 1 low. He is hitting .233. He's batted in 7 runs, hit 3 doubles on the year. Lined into left field. Coming on, making the grab is Grady Hotham for out number 2. And Luke Chessie will bat, a senior at Bowdoin from Thornton Academy. Another one of the Nor'easters' finer hitters, batting .306 with a .917 OPS. Takes strike 1. This game, of course, will be 7 innings, as most are in the GNCBL. These two teams will square off again later this afternoon. I'll be calling both, of course. So if you haven't got your fix by the end of this one, that one will be next in your YouTube recommended. Outside, 1 and 2. Ryan. Line foul. This is regrettably the only game currently ongoing in the GNCBL right now. It's unfortunately, usually there are 2 simultaneous doubleheaders with one down in Portsmouth, but one of the teams involved in that one unable to field enough players, or gather enough players to field a team, as Chessie takes high. So that will impact the standings somewhat. As I said, these two teams, with the Lightning at 7 and 5, the Nor'easters at 10 and 8, the only 2 above 500 in the GNCBL. The rest is a bit of a scrum between the Windjammers, Patriots, and Norsemen, the former 2 being the would-be participants in that doubleheader. With about a little over a week to go before the playoffs, as Chessie takes ball 4. The last game of the regular season, I believe, is this upcoming, a week from Tuesday, August 1st, with the playoffs starting the following Sunday. But you can consult GNCBL.com for the exact dates on all that. Man on for Dawson Gunlaw, who fouls it off the handle of his bat. Gunlaw is hitting .355 with 4 runs batted in. The senior playing on his home diamond With the Monks, he hit .264 with 1 home run. And Chessie takes off, and he got caught flat-footed by Mason Ryan. The Nor'easter's calling for a balk. And the home plate umpire coming on to discuss that. Certainly looked like he was in his windup. And that is the call. So Chessie is awarded second base. I believe that's a GNCBL first, at least in games that I've been calling. Manager Matt Power is out to clarify the ruling. So Gunlaw will continue his at-bat. 0-1 the count. The 6-foot righty playing right field today. He's from York. His senior year at York High School made first team all-conference. Back in, that would have been 2019. 0-1 in the zone. Chessie in scoring position. 0-2. Lined into right field for a base hit. Rounding third, coming in to score will be Luke Chessie. And Gunlaw on with a 2-out RBI single to give the Nor'easters an early 1-0 lead that they get on the back of that Mason Ryan balk. A costly mistake, although to be fair, Chessie looked like he was possibly going to get into second base anyway if Mason had not stepped off the bag during his windup. As it stands, though, 1-0 the score with Andrew Merrill at the plate. Fouls that off. Merrill, a sophomore at East Connecticut State, hitting .318. He's drove in 4 runs, originally from Oxford. Ryan. Merrill holds up. And ducks out of the way of ball number 3. The Nor'easters struck first in their last outing, which was also at this field. That, unfortunately, did not end up going well for them, as the Windjammers wound up scoring 9 unanswered runs on them. Throw down to first. Great layout by Nick Frank to prevent that ball rolling to the warning track. 3-1 from Ryan. And called outside for ball 4. Gunlaw into second. Nope, that's ball 3. But, oh no, they'll say it was fouled off. So Gunlaw going back to first. My mistake, full count. It's tough to get a read on those pitches from the angle I have. Payoff pitch from Mason Ryan. And that's high for ball 4. So just cut the last 15 seconds of my call out. Two more 2-out base runners against the hometown kid, Mason Ryan. And Michael Weir now will bat. Fouls it back for strike 1. A junior also in his home park at St. Joseph's, originally from Ellington, Connecticut. He is hitting .294, has just one extra base hit this season. Ryan's 0-1. Pop foul, out of play. You have a dedicated squadron of ball fetchers out in the parking lot out there. Oh, 2. High. Nick Swain coming out of the Lightning dugout to do his job. Can't field it cleanly, though, on the incline. Runners on first and second. 1-2. Lined into center field. Coming on and diving, but unable to come up with it, is a center fielder, Lodger. In comes Gunlaw. Rounding third and scoring will be Andrew Merrill. And the Lightning lead it 3-0 on a Michael Warren double. Sorry, the Nor'easters lead it 3-0. Big 2-out rally here against Mason Ryan. Dylan Furman looking to continue it, and that's into right. But able to make the catch is Gus Holland to end the inning. But the Lightning strike first. They lead it 3-0 here at St. Joseph's. Top of the second, Dylan Miner all of a sudden with a 3-run cushion to work with. He will face Grady Hotham, Henry Bebo, and Gus Holland in this one. 6'5" righty deals a ball outside to Grady Hotham, the rising freshman at USM out of Palermo and Erskine Academy. Cut and a miss for strike 1. Hotham's hitting 158. He's batted in 7 runs, though. For his Lightning squad, 2-1 the count for a Miner. Lined into left field. Just foul. That probably would have rolled all the way to the wall had it been fair. Brady Graffam didn't have a great jump on it, but it's allowed strike 2, or strike 1. Actually, I believe that was strike 2. Yep, cut and a miss for strike 3. Miner's third K, all swinging. Henry Bebo now, the rising freshman at Bowdoin out of Portland High School. Miner starts him off low. Second baseman stands at 5'7", grounds past the diving gloves of both Lappin and LeBlond and into left field for a single. Put that in just the perfect spot. It got redirected. Lappin was able to get his glove on it, but it went right off it and caromed, so Jack LeBlond couldn't field it cleanly. Bebo aboard, second hit of the game for the Lightning. For Gus Holland. Freeport High School graduate. Popped him up in shallow right field. Making the catch, Dawson Gunlaw. The runner will not tag. Reese Owens, the 8th man in the Lightning lineup. The catcher out of Bonnie Eagle. Originally from Buxton, but frequenter of Standish if he was a Bonnie Eagle Scot. Actually, I believe Bonnie Eagle is in Buxton, but from around here regardless. 1-0. He's hitting .250 this year. On the ground, short. Throwing it over to first for out number 3. The Lightning get another base runner, but again, nothing comes of it. Dylan Miner pitching well through 2. And the Nor'easters have a chance to add on in the bottom of the second here. Bottom of the second in Standish. Mason Ryan back on the mound to face batters 8, 9, and 10 in Max Zalewski's lineup, starting with Gus Lappin, junior out of Husson, originally from South Portland. He's batting .200 with 7 runs batted in. Cutting a miss. 0-2 on the catcher. Or actually, he's at third base today. One and 2. Taken high. Mason Ryan trying for a better frame. And as a good start, Lappin goes down. First K of the day for Ryan. Now Max Cloutier, sophomore at St. Lawrence out of Greeley. With 1 away, it takes strike 1. Cloutier hitting .217. Reaching base .407, or 40% of the time, though. And that hit him. So a prime example right there of the ways in which he's able to maintain that. Such a big difference between batting average and on-base percentage. Always an interesting case study. Cloutier only makes that wider with that. Now Hunter Brissett into right field. Holland closing in and makes the catch on the run. Retreating back to first and able to get in there in time before the relay throw comes is Cloutier. So 2 away for the top of the order. Jack LeBlanc popped out to third base when last he batted. All of that action in the first inning came with 2 outs. Jack LeBlanc and Brady Graffam both failed to reach. But a Luke Chessie walk got things going. And 3 runs ended up scoring, with a fourth man being left on second as LeBlanc takes strike 1. Ryan steps off. Oh, and 1 from the righty. Throws back to first instead. Now fires another high fastball. Runner goes. High for ball 2, and Owens can't pull it out of his glove cleanly, so down to second with a steal is Cloutier. And that goes to the backstop. So Cloutier down to third. 3 balls and a strike after that wild pitch. Could we be seeing some more 2-out noise? 3-1. Just inside. Plate discipline rewarded by Jack LeBlond. And that's the third walk issued by Mason Ryan. Brady Graffam lined out to left field in the first inning. Two-out rallies can be more effective than an average rally just because base runners are always running on contact. Makes it more likely for a runner to score from second if LeBlond was able to get a steal. And now manager Matt Powers coming out to talk with his pitcher. And looks like we're seeing a pitching change here in the second inning. They're talking it over. And no, it actually doesn't. Looks like he'll stay in. They're at least discussing it. Not immediately handing the ball over. Runners on first and third, and he will remain in the game. He's given up some solid contact and issued a few walks. A hit by pitch and a wild pitch. Down 2-0 on Graffam. But 1 out away from escaping this jam. His 2-0 misses. Graffam chases a 3-0, fouls it into the dirt. Nor'easter's looking for more than a 3-run cushion because on Thursday that proved to not be enough. Not that a 4-run cushion would have anyway. LeBlond takes off for second, and that ball over the head of the catcher. No play at the plate. Cloutier able to reach home. LeBlond into second, and Graffam aboard with another walk. That'll make it a 4-0 ball game. Max Cloutier was hit by a pitch, got to second on a steal, got to third on a wild pitch, and then got home on a wild pitch. Interesting journey for him. Luke Chessie started the first inning rally when he drew a 2-out walk and takes ball 2. Ryan having some trouble finding the strike zone now. Runners on first and second with 2 away. 3-0. On to Chessie, the Saco native. LeBlond and Graffam, the 2 men on. They can both run. And that's a 4-pitch walk. So that'll load the bases with 2 outs. A third straight walk issued by Ryan. He is not allowed a hit in this inning. The base runners have been a hit by pitch and 3 walks. That's his 5th walk overall in just an inning and 2/3. Dawson Gunlaw singled in Chessie from second after he got there with the balk. Gunlaw fouling off strike 1. The Nor'easters can blow this game open early if Gunlaw can repeat what he did in the first inning. A single could very well score all 3 runs. It would score at least 2. 0-1. Fouled back, and Ryan is 1 strike away. Senior trying to make some magic happen on his home St. Joseph's Field. The 0-2, just high. While the Standish native tries to wiggle his way out. 1-2 for Mason Ryan. Into left field, going back, and making the catch on the run. That was into center field. Henry Lodger makes the grab, and the Lightning leave the bases loaded. They do get one run out of it, but it could have been much worse. Mason Ryan thanking his lucky stars that Lodger was able to lay out for that. Still a 4-0 cushion for the home Nor'easters. Ready to start the bottom of the third here in Standish. Dylan Miner will face Nick Swain, who cuts and misses at strike one, along with Henry Lodger and Andrew Heffernan for the second time. Swain out of South Portland, one of 3 members of that title team on the Lightning squad. That's low, but called a strike. 0-2. Miner has been in his zone. Aside from an Andrew Heffernan double in the first, he is not allowed a base runner. 1-2. Swain is heading to Dean in the fall. And he looks at strike 3. 4th K by the Sacapee Valley graduate. And that brings up Henry Lodger, who struck out to open the game. It'd be hard to replicate the strikeout performance we saw on Thursday from Owen Sullivan, having 9 Ks through 5 innings. To put in perspective how far removed Owen Sullivan is from the rest of the GNCBL's pitchers right now, he has 47 strikeouts this season. Number 2 in the strikeout category is Lucas Francis on the Norseman with 30. So, Sullivan running away with that title. That's grounded down the third base line, fielded by the third baseman Lappin, but past the diving glove of Luke Chessie. Unable to advance, though, is Lodger. He held up, so he will reach on the throwing error by Lappin. And now the only man with a hit against Miner today, as I mentioned, Andrew Heffernan, hit a double with 1 away in the first, but that was as far as he got. And that throw gets through the first baseman, rounding second, heading for third on the throwing error, and in safely is Lodger. Chessie could not make the play on the throw from Miner. And Lodger gets a free ride to third base from it. So Heffernan in a prime position to get his team on the board. Looks at ball 1. Some bullpen activity in the Lightning side. That's a strike. Josh Kopetsky up in the Lightning pen. 1-1 from Miner with a man on third and 1 out. Lined into right field for a base hit. That will score a Lodger. Heffernan has his second hit of the day. And the Lightning on the board. They now trail it 4-1 in the top of the third. Richie Gilboy flied out to center in the first. Takes a massive cut. Gilboy, the premier power hitter in the GNCBL, the only man with multiple home runs to his name. He has 2. Driven in 15 runs, slugging .688, which is third in the GNCBL. And his .406 batting average is 4th. Doing it all for the Lightning squad. Trying to repeat as GNCBL champs. Lined into center field. That's down for a base hit. Into second and staying there is Heffernan. So the Lightning in business here with one away. Minor finally showing signs of a slight struggle, and this is not the man you want to face when you're already on the ropes. Nick Frink struck out swinging his last time up, which is something you do a lot when you're hitting for power, as he does. Taken inside. Frink has won many a home run derby at the high school level. Hit home runs in major league parks. Heading to Division I Quinnipiac in the fall. Didn't play high school ball his senior year after transferring to Thornton Academy in Saco. 1-2. Caught a miss. Frank goes down on strikes for the second time. And now 2 away for Grady Hotham with runners on first and second. Hotham struck out to begin the second inning. Minor fires right down the middle. He's got some velocity on that thing. We don't have a radar gun up here, unfortunately. Did not spring for that purchase, but passes the eye test. That's high for ball 1. These teams, as I said, have played each other 4 times, and by the end of today, that will rise to 6. They've all been competitive games. The Nor'easters took the first 2 up in Harrison, and the Lightning's GNCBL debut. They got one back in Sanford, but the Nor'easters won their last meeting. 2-1. Popped. Foul down the left field line. Giving chase is Graffam, but he can't make the catch. Two and 2. On Hotham, the Lightning have already gotten 1 run on the scoreboard, but Hotham can be the man to double their run total. 2-2. In for strike 3. Minor gets his 6th K and escapes the jam with just 1 run of damage. 4-1 the score now here in St. Joseph's. Bottom of the 3rd in Standish, and a pitching change for the Lightning. Mason Ryan is done after 2 innings of 4-run, 5-walk ball, and the man to replace him is Nick Swain, the righty out of South Portland. He will face Andrew Merrill to start him off with a ball. Merrill walked and came around to score in that first inning. He was the 3rd of 3 runs to score in that frame. Strike 1, excuse me. In for strike 2. I have a funny way of predicting those things by my verbal typos. 1-2. Taken low. Swain was mainly a hitter with the Red Riots as he fires in ball 3 to bring the count full, but this Lightning squad filled to the brim with players that can pitch and hit. They have an endless supply of relief options out of the bullpen, and Swain is the one they chose. Swing and miss at strike 3. Rhys Owens down to Frink at first base to complete the strikeout. Swain starts off with a K. Michael Weirn doubled and scored 2 runs in the first inning. That's just his second double on the season. Owens with a nice stop on a high fastball. And dances out of the way, a ball 2. Weirn, as I said, a junior at St. Joseph's out of East Catholic High School in Ellington, Connecticut. Hit high into center. And Henry Lodger makes grab for out number 2. Dylan Furman flied out to right his first time up. The catcher today. Line down the left field line. Foul. 0-2. Swain. Just missing. Neither team has managed a 1-2-3 inning yet. This would be the first. Swain leaves ball 2 high. Still a decently paced game, though. Grounded. I believe that was a foul ball, but Richie Gilboy fielded it anyway, and indeed it was. Bounced right on the line. I've certainly called slower paced games, although not to harken back to the Thursday game again for all the Nor'easter fans out there, but that game was cruising. Before the top of the 5th, I believe, in my editing, I saw the game time elapsed 42 minutes, and that did not count a pitching change in the middle. That's ball 4. Furman on with 2 down. Worked his way all the way back from an 0-2 count. And that will bring up Gus Lappin, who was Mason Ryan's only strikeout victim. Grounded down the third base line. Gilboy with the stop and could not pull it out of the dirt with his bare hand. So Lappin on with a screaming single. More 2-out magic. This is the 3rd time in as many innings the Nor'easters have had what looked like a quick inning turn into an adventure for the opposing pitcher. Max Cloutier takes strike 1. He was hit by a pitch and scored in the 2nd inning after stealing second and reaching home on 2 wild pitches. Hits that little bloop into shallow right field, and Henry Bebo makes the catch to retire the side. The Lightning get a few 2-out base runners, but nothing comes of it. They keep their 3-run cushion as we head to the 4th inning here in Standish. Henry Bebo, Gus Holland, and Rhys Owens due up in the top of the 4th inning. We're almost halfway through this first leg of the doubleheader. As Bebo looks at strike 1, he singled his first time up. And taking ball 2. Ball 1, excuse me. 1-1 the count. Minor gets him to ground to third, fielded on one hop, and over to first base. A great put out from Lappin to Chessie. That defensive connection is sound as ever. Bebo is retired for out number one. Dylan Minor continues to cruise. This is by far the best he's looked this season in a start. Allowed just one run and struck out 6 and counting. Gus Holland flied out to right. That's lined to short. Fielded and throwing on for a quick out number 2. 4 pitches and 2 outs. Now we'll bring up Reese Owens, the St. Joseph's commit, playing on what will soon be his home field. He grounded out to short in the second inning to end it. Fouled back for strike 1. And he could not keep his bat from going around as he offers on strike 2. More activity over in the Lightning bullpen. Ian Libby getting loose. 0-2. Owens lays off. Minor for the perfect frame. Chopped to short. LeBlond over to Chessie for the third put out of the inning. Another great play by the Nor'easter defender. And 1-2-3 go the Lightning in the 4th inning. Dylan Minor showing no signs of slowing down as the Lightning keep their advantage right where it was. Nick Swain back on the mound in the bottom of the 4th, trying to equal the innings total of the man he replaced in relief. 100% Jack LeBlond and Brady Graffam due up. Brissett, the last man to bat for the second time in the Nor'easters order. He flied out to right in the second inning. Looks at strike 1 from Swain. Last inning issued a walk and a hit, but nothing came of it. Lightning perhaps saving their more experienced arms for game 2. I know Ian Libby is in attendance today. That's lined to short. Fielded and thrown on for out number 1. Heffernan to Frink. And that brings up the top of the order. Jack LeBlond has popped out and walked. He was the first of 3 straight walks that loaded the bases in the 3rd inning. A jam that Mason Ryan ended up getting out of, but that was the last inning he would pitch. Left high by Swain for ball 1. LeBlond from Lewiston attends USM. And takes strike 1. And that's a nice breeze that just blew through the press box. It's a good temperature right now, although that's easy for someone in the shade to say. That's lined right up the middle into center field. Jack LeBlond on board for the second time, his first hit. And with 1 away and 1 on, Brady Graffam is up. He also walked and lined out. Strike 1 delivered by the South Portland native. Swain, Heffernan, and Gilboy, the 3 members of that title Red Riot squad. Try saying that 5 times fast. Runner goes. Line down the third base line. That's a fair ball. That's going to roll all the way to the wall. Rounding third and coming in to score is Jack LeBlond. Into second base with an RBI double, Brady Graffam. The Nor'easters lead it 5-1. Luke Chessie now has walked twice, also scored. The Nor'easters getting solid contact here. I believe that's the second double of the game. Michael Weirn had one in the first inning that drove in 2 runs. Fouled back out of play by Chessie. Excuse me. 1-2. And did that hit him or hit the end of his bat? I believe it got his bat. One-two count. Swain deals, cut and a miss for strike 3, and out number 2. For what it's worth, that was the first non-2-out run that the Lightning have scored, and now a Mountain Conference will commence with Dawson Gunlaw due up. And that will be it for Nick Swain. An inning and 2/3 and 1 run allowed for him. I believe, Ian Libby will enter the game for the Lightning. We will see him face off with Gunlaw when we come back. And it is Ian Libby. Just got done warming up, going to pitch to Dawson Gunlaw, who is singled and flied out. Libby out of Gray, New Gloucester High School. Gets Gunlaw to fly into left, coming on Hotham to make the grab and end the inning. But the Nor'easters tack on one more. A 5-1 ball game now, with the Lightning a chance to strike back as we head to the 5th inning. Dylan Miner back out for his 5th inning of work. And the Lightning will bat Swain, Lodger, and Heffernan in an attempt to slow him down. Swain has struck out looking in his only at bat. And this is actually Ian Libby batting in Swain's place. Libby mainly a pitcher. He has only had a couple at bats this year, yet to get a hit. Takes strike 1. Foul down the first base line, just foul. For strike 2, all 6'7" of the left-handed pitcher. Battle of 2 giants here, the 6'5" Miner and the 6'7" Libby. Cut and a miss. Libby goes down for Miner's 7th K. Now we'll bring up the top of the order. Henry Lodger has struck out and reached on an error. He has scored his squad's only run today. When Andrew Heffernan singled him home. Miners 1-0. Lined right at the jumping second baseman Weirn for a great play. That was just out of frame, unfortunately, but it was lined about a foot over his head, and he jumped up and snagged it. To put Lodger away for out number 2. Andrew Heffernan is having himself a day. He has doubled and singled. The only man with 2 hits today, Richie Gilboy and Henry Bebo, both have 1. Minor deals. In for a strike. 2-1. Minor evens it up. Against the Gatorade Baseball Player of the Year in the state of Maine. And Minor gets him to swing and miss for strikeout number 8. Another 1-2-3 inning. He has just gotten better and better as this game has gone on. And this one is getting closer and closer to hopeless if the Lightning cannot solve him. The Nor'easters now will bat as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Libby will pitch his first full inning in relief against Andrew Merrill, Michael Weirn, and Dylan Furman in the bottom of the 5th, with his Lightning trailing 5-1. And he fires in ball 1 to Merrill, who has walked and struck out. Strike 1 taken. So far, the Nor'easters have drawn 6 walks. 5 of them were issued by Mason Ryan in his 2 innings of work. Foul tipped, and I think that went off the helmet of Reese Owens. Yeah, he needs to take a second. One, 2. Fought off by Merrill. Who made the trip from Oxford Hills today. And he chases on that one, and that time he is not able to make contact. As he goes down, that's Libby's first K. One away from Michael Weirn, who has doubled and flied out against Libby, whose 0.82 ERA is 3rd in the GNCBL. And in case you were wondering, numbers 1 and 2 also on this Lightning squad. Gavin Belargian and Quinn McDonald. And that clips Weirn. He's aboard for the second time. Dylan Furman has flied out and walked. Now has a man on with 1 out against Libby. Libby also has 17 Ks on the year, including the one he got in this inning. Furman is a sophomore USM from Exeter, New Hampshire. He's from Stratham. He went to Exeter High School. Former all-state level high school soccer player. So coordination in both his arms and his legs. And Libby, known for his penchant to throw to first at any and all opportunity. Fouled back. Warren thought about going, but decided not to. Wouldn't have mattered. 2-1 the count to the catcher. Libby steps off. With men on base, he is a calculating and slow worker. Gets Weird to chase strike 2. On a pitch that was well out of the zone. Gave a baffled look to his teammates in the dugout after that one. Two from the Gray native. Runner goes into center field, coming on Lodger to make the play, and now having to run back to first and able to do so is Michael Weirn. A better throw might have made that close, but as it stands, just an out and a hold serve. Gus Lappin has singled and struck out. Trying to make some more two-out magic happen. With the way Dylan Furman is cruising right now, insurance runs aren't a necessity, but you never know how quickly things can change in this sport. On the ground to first, fielded by Frink, and he runs over to tag the bag for out number 3. The Lightning goes scoreless in the 5th. 5-1, the score remains. We head to the penultimate inning of the first half of this doubleheader here at St. Joe's. Dylan Miner out to begin the top of the 6th. He has pitched 5 innings, allowed 1 run, struck out 8, walked none. Delivers ball 1 to Richie Gilboy, who has fly down and singled. Chopped to second, fielded by Weirn. Over to Chessie for out number 1. Miner has allowed 5 base runners. 4 of them are the top 3 hitters in the lineup, Lodger, Heffernan, and Gilboy. Henry Bebo has reached on a single as well. Nick Frink is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, as is the man on deck, Grady Hotham. They have combined for 4 Ks in their 4 at-bats, all swinging. And Frink just cannot solve Miner so far. He's down 1-2 already. Miner. Frink takes low. And now Frink works at full. Number 99 is a unique number in the GNCBL. Payoff pitch. And that's outside. Plate discipline by Frink gets him on base for the first time. He has achieved 2 of the 3 true outcomes so far. And no, they called him back, actually. I'm going to say that was not ball 4. And instead, he rips a rocket off of the glove of Jack LeBlond. So, same outcome. I'm not sure what happened there, because that definitely was the fourth ball. But in any event, he's on first. Just with a hit instead of a walk. Jack LeBlond's glove, the only variable that changed in that equation. Now Grady Hotham trying to follow Frink's lead and rectify his box score, currently with 2 Ks and no trips to first. The Erskine Academy graduate takes strike 1. 1-1. Frink aboard with 2 down. Minor leaves it high. The East Baldwin native has had himself a day. The Nor'easters are not short on pitching talent, but this is one of the most impressive starting pitcher performances they've had all season. Three 1 in the zone. Full count for Minor to end it. Sacapee Valley graduate with a payoff pitch. Hotham stays alive. And that's strike 3. Gets it in for strikeout number 9. And that's out number 2. Grady Hotham now 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. And Henry Bebo will bat with 2 away. He is grounded out to third and singled. Did that in the second inning. Looks at strike 1. Minor, I suppose, should be thankful for that strange interaction with the Nick Frink count, because that makes it so he still, through 5 2/3 innings, has not issued a single walk. That's grounded to third, fielded cleanly by Lappin over to Chessie for out number 3. And Dylan Minor may be the end of his day if he doesn't come out to try and do a complete game. If it is a 6-inning 9 strikeout, 1 run, no walk masterpiece that he and all his teammates should be proud of. They lead at 5-1 with a chance to add to it in the bottom of the 6th. Bottom of the 6th, Ian Libby back for another inning. Barring a 7th inning meltdown, this will be the last time the Nor'easters bat, and they have Max Cloutier, Hunter Brissett, and Jack LeBlond due up. Cloutier has been hit by a pitch and popped out to second. Also scored a run in the second. In for a strike from the 6'7" righty, Ian Libby. Closing out the Lightning's defensive part of this game. If they do miraculously rally back to tie it, he will likely come on to close out the bottom of the 7th. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. That's fouled back for strike 2 by the St. Lawrence sophomore out of Cumberland. 1-2. Inside. Cloutier hitting .217, as I said, with a .407 on-base percentage. On the ground to third, fielded by Gilboy. Over to Frink. Actually, that's Gus Holland at first for out number 1. So a bit of defensive shuffling afoot. Holland has moved from his post in right. Hunter Brissett has flied out and grounded out. He is the only member of this Nor'easters lineup that has not reached base. And that's grounded to first. Holland fields cleanly, and he will not reach base. Two quick outs for Jack LeBlond, who's had a great day. He has walked, singled, and popped out. He's also scored. He is the 5th run of the 5 the Nor'easters currently have. The Nor'easters have inflicted a lot of 2-out damage in this game so far. The Libby and the Lightning trying to not give them that chance. He is a strike away from doing just that. And give his bats one more chance to rally back in the first half of this doubleheader. That's in the dirt. These teams are effectively tied at the top of the standings. The Nor'easters are 10-8. The Lightning 7-5. Lightning are technically ahead based on winning percentage. They have less wins than the Nor'easters have losses. But the Nor'easters have the edge due to the sheer volume of games they've played. By the end of this doubleheader, we may have some clarity, as that's foul tipped into the mitt by LeBlond for a K, the second from Libby. And now the top of the 7th, the Lightning will have Holland, Owens, and Libby due up in one final chance to pull even or take the lead. You won't want to miss it. That will come right up after this. And then there was one more frame for the Lightning. Dylan Miner is on the mound trying to complete a complete game with Holland, Owens, and Libby in his path. Holland has flied out and grounded out. He takes strike 1. The lineup spots due up are a combined 0-for-5. Counting Libby's one at bat, and Holland now down 0-2. Miner has to step off. Holland calls for time. Oh, 2. And did he go around? No, he did not. Miner waved at and missed for strikeout number 10. Holland falls victim for the first time. He now, incredibly, has passed Owen Sullivan for the strikeout in a game this week record, a vaunted record many have gone for. Reese Owens lines that past the diving Michael Wern into right center. He has his first hit of the game. That's the 6th hit allowed by Miner. They've been able to get base runners, just none aside from Lodger in the 3rd inning have been able to score. Ian Libby now batting. He struck out his only time after replacing Nick Swain, who also struck out his only at bat. A double play could end it. The strikeout would put the Lightning on the ropes. And that goes off the glove of Weirn. That could have been a game-ending double play. Instead, everybody's going to be safe. Libya aboard. Owens down to second. The Lightning with a bit of a rally brewing, perhaps, with one away. Henry Lodger has struck out, lined out, and reached on an error. And he hits that into that right into the glove of Hunter Brissett for out number 2. So the Lightning's hopes rest in Andrew Heffernan, who has 2 hits in this game, but has also struck out. He has a double and a single. Miner trying to put a cap on a masterful outing. Heffernan, the man for the job. That gets through Furman. So both runners will advance. The Lightning now with 2 in scoring position. Owens to third, Libby to second. On the pass ball. 1-1 count to Heffernan. This is a dangerous part of the Lightning order. With the game on the line, Heffernan, Gilboy, and Frink. All threats to go yard. 2-1. Skips in the dirt. Miner, 1 ball away from issuing his first walk at, it could be argued, the worst possible time. And Heffernan started taking off for first, but the umpire had another idea. 3-2, full count. The Lightning down to their final strike. What's the call from Miner? We'll have to wait and hold our breath a bit longer. Heffernan calling for time. Now the payoff pitch. On the ground. Fielded by the shortstop over to Chessie at first to get the out and end the threat. It wasn't without its drama, but Dylan Miner caps off a wonderful performance, a complete game. Gave up 6 hits, allowed 1 run, walked none, and struck out 10 as his Nor'easters win it 5-1. Excuse me, sorry about that. Just a bit of confusion. That was, in fact, the end of the game. My heart dropped for a second when the teams didn't do handshakes, but that makes sense considering they're about to play each other again. 5-1 the final. And stay right here for the second half of the doubleheader here in Standish between these two squads. Until then, though, I've been Charlie Fellows. Take care.